We're back.
I don't know if we're. Here we go. I think we're good.
Are we back?
Now we're back.
we're rusty, apparently. That's okay.
Been a minute.
Yeah, we are officially back. I know we did a half power lunch, we'll call it, last week. But we're back. We're hopefully going to make them consistent again. And yeah, we're excited. We are a little bit rusty, so give us some time to get back into the flow of it. But I think we have a pretty fun topic today. If you are new to the stream, if you've never joined us before, welcome. If you are someone who was watching us consistently before we took the break, welcome back. For those of you who are new to the stream, we were doing this every single week, every single Tuesday, 12:30 Eastern. We took a little bit of a break for some family stuff, but we took that time and we are back to make these a consistent thing. I know we're kind of going into the holidays, so that might.
No, I think we'll still do it. I think we'll still do it in the holidays.
We'll see. Hopefully, if we're in the same city.
Does Christmas Day land? Oh, true. I mean, maybe we can do it remote.
I don't know. Are we going to do a power lunch on Christmas Day?
Does it land on a Tuesday?
No, it's on Boxing Day.
Oh, fun.
So while you guys are all out.
Maybe we'll take a break for that one holiday.
Or we might be able to do an interesting, I don't know. There might be some good topics to talk about on Boxing Day. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But as always, this is supposed to be interactive. So we have a topic that we're going to be discussing. We will banter along with it. If you have something that you want to add, just put a message, leave us a comment, and we'll add it to the conversation.
If you're watching this live, put comments in. We're watching on Facebook, and then we're also live on YouTube. So if you are coming in from YouTube and watching it live, put your comments in, and we should be able to see those. And talk about them. Yeah. Talk about your input.
And if you don't want to leave a comment, just say hi. We like to know that.
That's still leaving a comment, but.
Yeah, but if you don't want to say something, just say hi. Yeah. So,
look at this guy.
The holidays are among us, which means the holiday minion comes out.
I like the minions.
Yeah.
He sings a song in minion words.
It's a very odd song.
Language.
We aren't going to play it.
And he dances like this.
The dog loves it. We aren't going to play it.
Our Christmas tree's up.
It is. That's fun. We're ready for the holidays.
Yep. It's up, it's decorated, and it's Christmassy.
It is Christmassy. I love this month. I love December so much. So it's a good month. It's always a good month. Okay, so today we have I think a pretty interesting topic with a lot of potential discussion points. So as you saw in the title of today's discussion, we are talking about not specifically how knowledge doesn't equal power, but it kind of, I guess, brings us along the line of what we will be talking about today, which is?
Taking action. Mm-hmm. So knowledge on its own is not power. Applied knowledge is power, right? So actually doing something with the knowledge that you've gained.
Exactly.
Not just reading books and then sitting down and doing nothing with that information, but actually putting it into practice.
And this is something that's very hard, especially when you're just starting just starting anything really, but obviously we're applying it to the real estate world in this discussion. But in any case with doing anything new, it's very hard to take that first step to actually take action. If you're doing something new, a lot of times you want to get I know a lot of people, not everyone's like this, but most people want to get as much information as they can. They like to be well prepared for whatever is going to happen. Obviously, the feeling how prepared you need to feel changes depending on who you are. But this is something that we've heard from a lot of people, that they want to be 100% prepared before they take that first step. And it's a tough conversation to have because unfortunately you're never going to know everything. So you'll never take that first step if you're trying to know everything before you even take it.
Yeah. We call that paralysis analysis. Analysis paralysis? There we go. Paralysis by analysis.
Yes.
That's the one I was thinking of. We are currently struggling with this. Great topic. Hi, Ali.
Yes.
Welcome.
Well, this is a good time to join us then.
Yeah, I think honestly, I don't think you're alone. I think everybody is always struggling with this.
Yeah. And it's
in something, usually you mentioned it already, when it's something new.
Yeah, because it's scary, right? Like it's scary for a lot of people to start something that they aren't 100% certain what's going to happen. Like I said, this varies person to person on how certain you have to be. But I think everybody has a bit of that they feel some comfort in what they know before they move forward. And obviously in the world of real estate, that's a pretty big deal, right? Like you're dealing with normally pretty big sums of money, whether it's a duplex or whether you're buying a 20 unit building or you're buying a 100 unit building. Relative to where you are, it's probably a lot of money, right? Like if you're buying a duplex at that point in your career, in your real estate investing career, that's probably a lot of money that you're putting into it. Yep. So it's hard when you have to, put that money out with the potential of like, you don't 100% know what's going to happen. It can be really scary. Yeah,
taking action has some risk level to it, right?
So for you, Ali, what's and we'll kind of keep chatting. Hopefully, you're still here. If you're okay with sharing, what does that struggle look like for you? Like, what is it that, like, I know you kind of said you're struggling with it, but what is it? What's that struggle of like that next step? Because maybe we can chat a little bit about it. Jeff give you all
I liked the comment.
Yeah, and if anybody else is having a struggle taking that first step, comment below what that struggle is, and maybe we can chat a little bit about it. But I know for me, I am someone who likes to know what I'm getting myself into. You are definitely.
I need all the details. I'm a very detail oriented person. For those that don't know me. And yeah, I need to, like, if I'm buying a product, I'm reading reviews on it. I'm trying to find maybe the best deal on it, or see like which model is going to be the best one, and comparing all this, like, just way too much information. And I do get stuck in that analysis paralysis for sure.
Jeff is someone that, like, so when I'm getting a new phone, I just tell him that it's time for me to get a new phone, and I give him a 1 week timeline, because he loves to do. Well, I assume you like to do this kind of research, or you just do it because you feel like you have to. I don't know.
I think I need to.
I feel like you just have that need to do it. But I'll give him like a 1 week timeline. I'm like, I'm only giving you a week. At the end of the week, just tell me what phone I should be buying. Because if not, he'll keep doing the research until I don't know when, until the next new phone comes out.
Now that we're on iPhone, it's a little bit easier.
Yeah,
it's a lot more straightfortard. Either you need the pro camera or you don't.
Yeah, but even that, there's a lot of research that goes into it.
Yeah, there is. All right, Ali. Well, we just found a property that we are actually considering putting under contract, but we're worried we're not ready for this big of a challenge. It's an amazing deal, but we don't even know where to start. So it's hard to feel like we're ready to take that first step. Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So this actually is along kind of what I was, where I was going with Jeff and we got off track with Jeff and phones, but we've all been there. Like, we've been there 100%. And it's happened. I've found every single time we're taking on a new size of a project and a new type of a project, because we've done multiple different types of projects, and I've found this every single time we switch to a new one, that I get that feeling of like, I don't really know what we're doing. So it's hard when you can't really envision what all the steps are going to be and what like that outcome is going to look like. But what I've found helps me is like, okay, I don't need to know, A, B, C, D, E, F, G all the way to Z. I just need to know what A looks like. So I'm
And
going to
then
have
maybe an idea of what Z kind of looks
yeah,
like as well.
kind of where, yeah, you want to know where you're going. And in this case, it's, hopefully closing on a real estate project. But what I've found helps is talking to myself about not needing to know every single step. All you need to know is kind of what that next step looks like, and how, like, you'll have like a bone outline, I guess, of the whole process, but you don't need to know exactly what B or C or D is going to look like. Just trusting yourself that you know enough about A and you'll figure out A, get through that first step, and then, okay, what does B look like now? We've solved A, we got there. So, for you, it's you've found the project, right? You've underwritten it. You've already taken those action steps to find the project. So you've already done A. So for you now, it's like, okay, what is putting in that offer look like? Right? So next step is putting in the offer. Don't even worry about it if it's under contract yet, because you haven't even put in your offer. So what is putting it under, like, what does the offer look like? What makes sense? Put in that offer.
And how can you mitigate your risk while putting that offer in, right?
Yeah.
Typically with a real estate deal, you make it a conditional offer. So you're not bound to that as so long as you still have some conditions. So if for some reason something doesn't look right, then you can still walk away from it.
Yeah. So once you do the offer, okay, maybe now it gets accepted. Now what does it look like? And for me, that's what I've found has helped a lot, is just trusting that, like, I guess accepting that I'm not going to know exactly what every step is going to look and feel like, but just trusting that I have enough knowledge, so maybe 70 to 80% of the knowledge, and that I'll kind of figure out the rest of it as I'm going. And the beautiful part about it is, you might get to step B or C, realize maybe it's not the deal that you thought it was, or I don't know, maybe one step of it doesn't make sense for you at this point in your journey. And then as long as you've put in enough like kind of a safety net with like conditions, you can walk away from it. So at least you've put the steps in to learn that process, and then that, so you're more familiar with ABC when you get to your next property. Yeah. So those will be less clunky and less awkward feeling.
Trying to plan every single stage of it, you'll just drive yourself crazy. Yeah. You'll need to pivot at some point, and you just need to be aware of that going into it, that maybe you don't know what those steps, whatever C, D, E, F, G are, but maybe you're skipping steps, or maybe there's just, you're going to take a different direction, right? So that's where that pivot comes in, and just being able to do that and not having like a hard set, boom, 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 boom. These are all of the steps that I need to do in this order going forward.
And that's where, and I know for you, Ali, this is something that you've already tapped into. It's also nice to have somebody to guide you through that, so that that you may not know it, but at least you have somebody that's alongside you that can kind of help with that guidance. It's not even that the person guiding you is going to know everything 100% either, because I don't think anybody ever knows anything 100%. But at least having someone that has a little bit more experience than you, and can also just kind of almost act as like bumpers, like when you go bowling, put your bumpers up. They can kind of help guide you towards the end. So I think this is a very common thing. I know I've felt it. I'm pretty sure you've felt it as well. We've felt it together, and you just have to trust that you've done, enough to this point to be able to get you through those first couple of steps. Yeah, but very normal feeling for sure. And I know, so Lisa said, more knowledge increases grief. I think that's a very interesting expression. I didn't know it was a biblical expression, so I learned something new today. But I think it's a very interesting expression, because I find that when I talk to a lot of people who are wanting to get their first property, and we were actually talking about this right before this live, a lot of people will say, I just need one more of this. I just need to watch one more YouTube video.
I just need to read one more book.
Yeah, I just need one more of this. I just need to do one more program.
I
I
just
just
need to
need,
understand this concept.
yeah. And often those are basically like, I hate to say it, but they're excuses to not take that first step. And what we have found, and I mean, I'm gonna give a shout out to Wealth Genius for this, because what I found helped us a lot was, okay, we're gonna learn a piece. So we're gonna learn a piece of the puzzle. We're gonna trust the process. We're gonna learn a piece of the puzzle. So maybe that piece is underwriting and talking to realtors. So we're gonna talk to the realtors. We're gonna do some underwriting. We're gonna learn how to do that process, and then we'll learn how to do a walkthrough, and then we'll start to actually do those walkthroughs. So you're almost learning A, B, C, D as you go, and you're taking action on each piece. And I found that was really, really helpful for us, because by the time we were ready to actually pursue a project, we were already comfortable with, talking to the realtor, getting the property underwritten, walking the property, asking the right questions, putting in that offer. We had already done all of those steps, so they felt less uncomfortable, so that when we got to the point that now we are doing our due diligence, putting the deal together, that was where things felt more uncomfortable. It wasn't step A, B, C, D. So I'm gonna shout out to Wealth Genius on that, because that was a huge for us to be able to actually get to where we wanted to go.
Yeah, it was practice by doing, really, and just building on top of each, I guess, A, B, if we're using the alphabet, A, B, C, D, right? Building on top of each. So you're just kind of going down that line and really getting that practice in, and applying the knowledge, not just like binge watching modules or YouTube videos and sitting on your ass and not doing anything.
Because then what, right? Like,
because you haven't done anything at this point.
Yeah, you have a bunch of knowledge, and I mean, anybody who sorry to everyone like me who went to university, you learn a bunch of stuff, but then you get into the real world and you're like, this isn't, like, it's kind of what I learned, but it's not really what I learned, because the textbooks and the modules aren't exactly what the real world is like. So
yeah, whereas college, right? I went to college, and what you're learning there, you're actually doing it. There's like co-ops, and there's like, you're more hands-on with everything that you're doing. So you're not just learning the theory behind something. You're actually like applying it and doing it.
Yeah.
So you get that real world experience.
Yeah, and I think that's the same with the real estate world, right? Like, getting into real estate investing, you have to get out there and do the things, because if you're just, taking the undergrad university route, it's going to be tough, right? Like, you're not really going to know what the real world is like, because it's not typically the same as what you learn in these modules. Like, you're going to have concepts, but then you have to apply those concepts, and you have to tweak those concepts, and you need different tools in your tool belt at different periods of time, so that you can be a bit more flexible and kind of like roll with the punches, because guess what? The punches are going to come in real estate. And you got to know how to deal with them. So it goes beyond just, if you are someone who's like, I just need one more, I'm sorry to break it to you, but you probably don't just need one more. What you actually need to do is go and take some action and put what you're learning into action. And then maybe you do find you have a gap, and you do have to go back and do some reading and some extra, like, looking into something. But it's because you've hit a roadblock taking action, and then you can go back, learn that, and then push past whatever that roadblock is.
Yeah, and now you've hit that next step, right? So you probably took action on A, and now you maybe you need to go back and do some research before you actually take action on B.
Yeah. And again, this is something that we've all felt. Jeff and I, we say we did our first year of real estate was learning. Did we need all that first year to learn? Probably not. But we didn't have anybody to tell us what that first step looked like. We had nobody guiding us to what taking action looked like. So
even still, we took that year to learn, and we got into our first project, and like, we didn't know all of the steps that we needed to do. We learned it as we went.
Yeah.
Like, that project was wild.
Yeah, I think we would have done that project would have gone the same had we done 2 to 3 months of research versus a year of research. It wouldn't have
100%.
changed anything.
Yeah.
We knew enough probably a couple of months in, and we didn't need the full year to make the mistakes that we made in our first project.
Yeah, I mean, most of what I would say came out of like one weekend boot camp,
Yeah.
right? Before we dove in and actually started that project.
Yeah.
Then we realized we needed a lot more than just that boot camp, but
yeah, we needed a lot more guidance.
That was once we started to hit those difficult pieces, those punches, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a term that our mentor Alfonso uses all the time, and I think it's so funny. So don't let like the books that you read and like the modules that you do, don't let them become shelf help.
The self-help books, when you don't apply anything, become shelf help.
So don't let that happen to what you're learning. Like really try to take some steps, and don't worry about what every single little piece is going to look like. Just worry about that first step. What's that going to look like? Learn about that first step, put it into action. Make sure you do a little bit of due diligence for that first step so that you're not putting yourself into danger. Like, I'm not saying don't learn anything and then just jump into the game and hope for the best. You need to have some knowledge going into it, but you need to take that knowledge and then apply it.
Yeah.
So don't go out and like say, Dakota and Jeff said, I don't need to learn anything. I can just go.
No, we're saying you need to apply the knowledge that you've learned.
Yeah. So, just don't come back to us if you didn't learn anything and you just went for it.
There's a good book that can help people get started, really, The One Thing.
Yeah.
It's a really good book. It's like, what is one thing that you can do today? So, Ali, this would be a good question for you. What is one thing that you can do today to move forward with that deal?
Yeah. Yeah. It's actually, I think we do a live.
We talked about it on another live.
Yeah.
But I don't think the whole live was about that book. I think it was just part of it, similar to this. Anyways.
I remember talking about it at one point.
Yeah, we've talked about this one before. It's a good book, and it's good for taking action, and it's good for breaking down big tasks into smaller pieces. Yeah. Right? What is the one thing you can do today that's going to get you towards that bigger task of like closing on this deal that you found?
Yeah. And I think for me, that's actually a pretty big reason why it was hard. I had to, I guess, rework some mindset stuff, is because it's overwhelming, right? It's overwhelming having to look at a big project, and like, I guess part of it was not being able to see every single step, but it's also just there's so many things that have to be done. I don't even know where to start. So it's not even that, maybe it's not even that you need more knowledge. It's that like, you don't even know what step one is. And that's part of having that guidance piece, as well as for someone to help you with like, okay, what even is step A? What does that look like? And again, I think going back to our shout out to Wealth Genius is like having the steps of like, your first step is to speak to a realtor. So go do that. Okay, step 1. Okay, next step is to get the numbers and underwrite it. Okay, we've done that. Check. So it helps when you have a process of some kind, and whether, that's
guidance.
Yeah, someone actually guiding you, or you have your own process, like a checklist of things to do, because that at least gives you what your first step is. Because I do wonder for people who are like me, if you're looking at it and it looks really overwhelming, that's where it could be like, it's not so much that you think you need more information. It's just that that's kind of, like that's almost like a safety jacket. It's like, I just don't want to start because I don't know where to start. So I'm just going to say I need to read this book. Yeah. Because in reality, it has nothing to do with what's in that book. It has everything to do with, I just don't know where to start. So I don't know. Yeah. So I think in the end, if you are nervous about taking that first step, it doesn't, like, take it. Just put something into action, it doesn't have to be going out and putting a property under contract. That in the real estate world, that doesn't have to be what taking action looks like. Maybe it is just booking a walkthrough. Maybe it is just calling a realtor.
Maybe it's just reaching out to somebody else that is doing what you want to do, right? So this brings us into community as well.
True.
So hanging around the people that are doing the things that you want to do is going to put you to that next level, because now it's become normalized. Doing walkthroughs has become normalized, and you're collaborating with people around you that are already doing these things or that have similar goals. So that can really help you take action when everybody around you is taking action.
Yeah, it'll become normal to kind of step out of that comfort zone and take that first step. And you can ask them, like you have a ton of people that are doing it, and you can ask them what that first step might look like for you.
Yeah. Or go on a walkthrough with, like, let's say it is a walkthrough, go on a walkthrough with somebody, right? Tap into your community, and now you can tag along, and it's a lot less daunting when you have somebody that's more experienced by your side.
Yeah, 100%. I know for us, it wasn't even necessarily the taking action piece, being surrounded by the right people. It was more taking bigger action than we thought we could. And that's where the community, like being a part of a community doing really incredible things, helped us. Was like we were already in a place that we also had the guidance as well. So we were already going to take action, but it was taking action beyond what we thought we were capable of doing, which I think is still part of that, like, you know, trying to figure out what that next level looks like and what that project looks like, and being kind of nervous to take what those steps are to get to that next level. So wherever you are in your journey, if you're like, I'm already taking action, I don't need to be surrounded by people. If you level up your community, you're probably going to end up, I mean, I'll let you say your line, but if you level up your community, then you're probably going to be taking bigger steps, doing bigger things, taking bigger action than you ever thought you could. So
what's my line? If you level up your circle, you'll level up your life. I like that one.
Yeah, I do.
I say that at boot camps.
I do. I like that one as well. And that's going to take.
You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? Everybody's heard that saying before. If you haven't, well, there you go. And that
Jeff isn't the first one to say.
That reflects that. Quote it with my name under it. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and that applies in anywhere in life, right? Finances, love life. If everybody you hang around is single, you're probably also single. If everybody you hang around is a millionaire, if you're not already a millionaire, you'll probably be the next one.
So it's gonna help you, like I said, if you're kind of in a holding pattern of your investing and you want to take that next level, you might be in the same position where you're, in your mind, you are taking action, but it's almost like, I don't want to say an excuse. That seems like a harsh word, but
no, you can be harsh. It's
you
okay.
want, like, if you're someone who wants to go to the next level and you're like, well, I'm taking action, but you're taking the same action that you were to get the properties that you're at now, and you're nervous to take the action that's going to require you to go and, close on bigger properties, that's the same problem. Because you are taking action, you are doing walkthroughs, but you're doing walkthroughs that you're comfortable with, that you've always been doing, that isn't really taking a next action step. It's just part of your routine now. It's your comfort. But you're going to require taking action in a different way, and that can be scary. And you might be putting it off and just saying, like, yeah, I'm taking action, I'm going to walk properties, but they're not the properties you're actually going after.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Yeah, that was I wasn't expecting to go there, but we went there.
That always happens.
I know. So if you are someone who feels maybe we should learn more about the area, and then we need to find investors.
I've got to say see more. Okay, let's read this out loud.
Oh, boy.
Ali, being completely transparent, we already found the deal, so those steps are done. Good work. I feel as if maybe we should learn more about the area. Then we need to find investors if the area is actually growing. But we'll talk to our coach too and see what he thinks. there's a lot of questions about what the next step is right now. So I think it's the guidance step at this point. Absolutely. Yeah. And if you have the coach in your corner, then they're going to be able to help you with that next step, because now you're following that system, you have the proper guidance and somebody who's been there before and can help walk you through these steps. I think both of those areas are important. Look at the area. You want to make sure that it's a good place to invest for sure. And then, finding investors. If you don't have the capital to do it yourself, then maybe you need to do that.
Yeah. But I think this is a great example of, you're doing this kind of exactly what we were talking about earlier. You're doing this in a really great way where, you've you made it through the first steps. So, you weren't, this is like, we'll call this step D. So you made it to step D because you weren't necessarily so worried about step D during ABC. But now you've hit D and you're like, there is some stuff that I have to look into at this point. But if you were so worried about D when you started, it may have stalled you from even going through those steps. But I think this is a great example of you've taken the action. You're there. You've just hit a step now that you do have to go back and do some of that due diligence, do some of that research. So you're at a point now that, maybe you do have to go back to the books a little bit and do that due diligence to make sure that you're moving forward with something that actually makes sense. But you want to balance that with not getting stuck here because you're nervous to go to step D, step E. It's like we're alphabet.
The next step.
The next letter of the alphabet. But I like this is exactly, I think, how the process should work, especially if this is the first type of project you've done like this, right? You need to go back to the drawing books and do a little bit of research and, get about 80% of that certainty in. And then it's time to move on to the next step. And like you said, it's that guidance is going to help you a ton because they're going to flag things that maybe you didn't think of before you move on to that next step. But yeah, I think what you're doing is exactly what you should be doing. And it's just a matter of, figuring out this step, taking the action on it, and then moving on to the next one. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I think that's it.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know. If you are if this is something that you want to talk more about, or you feel like you're stuck, if you want to know more about what guidance could look like for you, if you're someone who's just starting out and you're like, you're right, I don't know how to do step A and that's why I haven't done that yet, reach out to us and we can see if it's something that we can help with, because it is scary. It's scary to take that first step, and then it's scary to take that second step. But once you get a bit of a momentum going, you'll get used to it. Honestly, you'll get used to it being scary and you'll kind of lean into it.
Yeah. You should not feel like you're alone either.
Yeah.
So if you do feel like you're alone, then something needs to change. And I mean, that could just be starting with community.
Yeah.
That could be starting with getting a mentor, somebody that's going to be able to be in the corner with you, that's going to help guide you through this so that you don't feel alone and like you're doing this unguided and by yourself kind of thing.
Yeah. We've been in real estate communities for such a long time that I forget that not everybody's doing real estate investing. I'm so used to being surrounded by people doing real estate investing that I feel like everybody's doing it. And then I realize that that's not the case. It's just... And
the ones that aren't, you're like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. People post normal life things on Facebook. I'm like, what? There's no building in this picture.
What is this deal?
Where are the hydrometers? I don't get it.
It's just a baby.
Yeah. I'm like, did you take your baby on a walkthrough? What are you doing? But seriously though, I think that's a really good point, Jeff, is that don't feel alone, because there's no reason to feel alone. Mm-hmm. There are other people with big goals and big dreams just like you that, either are scared or were scared, and there's ways to work through that. And a big part of it is being surrounded by the right people. So
if you don't know who to reach out to us and we can help you.
Yeah, we'll do what we can, but please don't be feeling like you're alone.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's a good place to end it.
I think so. That was very touching.
Yeah.
Okay. So I hope you enjoyed that.
Do we have an upcoming event? No, we don't. Not yet.
We might though.
December 18th.
Watch out.
Save the date.
Yeah. There's likely going to be something coming up. You will be the first to know.
If you're in the Ottawa area or willing to come to the Ottawa area, we will be doing an in-person workshop, I believe, on the 18th. More details to come.
Yeah, you will be the first to know. We will likely, like we did last time, announce it during our power lunch. So keep an eye out for that. It's exciting things. If you think someone else would find this chat useful, it will be on my profile. It's also going to be on YouTube.
Just go to YouTube. It's easier
Probably
to find.
Easier. Feel free to share it with them. Like I said, we are hoping that we'll make these go back to our regular schedule of doing these every week. We might be here on Boxing Day even. We'll see. If you'll be here on Boxing Day, we'll try to be here on Boxing Day.
If you have any topics that you'd like us to discuss, let us know. If you want to be a guest on this, I think we can bring a guest in as well. If you want to talk about something specific yourself, and just kind of have the back and forth with us, then please send us a message and we can make that happen.
Yeah.
Otherwise, thank you for tuning in. We love you all.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.